Hey everybody, Uncle Rich here for Who's Telling the Truth. Guys, today is October 26th, 2015. We're almost at Halloween. See our pumpkin up there? This is show number 113, and the name of the show is Feel the Bern. Now guys, last week we did a segment. For the first time we did our first segment called Feel the Bern. And so I was really gonna name this show Benghazi because, in honor of the 11-hour grilling that Hillary endured, from the Select Senate Committee.
Yeah, everybody
And then Elijah Cummings, he begged Trey Gowdy to release the transcripts. But Howdy Gowdy, sorry, but Howdy Gowdy refused, and we're going to show you why he refused to show the transcript. And guys, when we show you this, you're going to go, you got to be kidding me. And no, we're going to get to it. But first, the first thing we want to do tonight, guys, the people up at the hospital, they need our help. And Judy, can you bring up still number A, please? We want to give, guys, this is an attention getter. This is what I call an attention getter. This is from the what is this? The
AFT.
What's the first word again?
AFT.
Yeah, I know it's AFP. What's the first word again?
Tech.
What's the A stand for?
American.
American Federation of Teachers, right, guys?
Right.
So we're all Americans, am I right? But guys, look at what's happened here. Management is taking 700,000 in bonuses while laying off caregivers. They're not putting patients before their profits. And Judy, so guys, this is what got my attention right off the bat. Americans not taking care of Americans. And Judy, let's have the next still, please. So guys, what we want you to do is, and you can come back and forth with me. You can fade in and out, Judy. But what we want you to do, guys, is we want you to go onto the website, and if you can't come down and support the people, at least fill out the paperwork online and sign in and show your support that way. But guys, and Judy, if we go to the next still, we can get rid of the Feel the Bern for now. But if we go to the next still, and guys, this coming, still number C, beautiful. This coming Sunday at 5 o'clock, Danbury Rising is going to stand in solidarity with those who provide the care that we count on, our nurses and the healthcare professionals at Danbury and New Milford. So guys, that's going to be at 5 o'clock on Sunday. And Judy, can we go to still number D, please? Mm-hmm. And guys, this is going to be at Broadview Middle School at 5 o'clock. You can come back to me. Guys, yours truly is going to be there. And I want to get to the bottom of the BS. I want to stand behind these guys, but I want to make sure that the money isn't going to the top. Guys, when you start paying people a living wage with shift differential and holiday pay and weekend premium, when you start taking care of everybody, we can back off. You can have all the profits you want. But the first thing you have to do is you have to take care of the people first. And this is the middle class. And we're all Americans. We're all part of this.
Move it.
The American Federation of Teachers is the union organization. but all these techs and the technicians and the people at the hospital, I think they're trying to become union members. And that's what we want, so they can have collective bargaining, so they're not taken advantage of. And that's the idea of using, community access TV. What better way to get the word out than through Comcast and through local TV? And you'll be watching me tonight. We're going to be on Monday nights at 7, and next Monday we'll be live. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to Broadview. I'm going to take interviews with people. If you want to get on TV, you'll be more than, hey, we'll welcome you. You can put your 2 cents in, your 5 cents in. If you got no sense, hey, a lot of times we talk about some of the conservatives with their nonsense. So guys, and speaking of nonsense and words that don't make sense, we're going to go back to last week's show. And we're going to, Kevin McCarthy, he declined to become Speaker of the House. And one of the reasons why is because he uses words like untrustable. But we want to play this clip quickly, because this is the clip that raised the questions. And remember, you can go back to the last show on YouTube, but this is the clip, and we're going to show you how we gave Wayne Simmons the old bada bing. We took no prisoners, and we gave him the business up and down. So we're going to play this clip from yesterday, for last week, just to prove our point. So Judy, clip number 2, please. So guys, you heard the language. Hillary is untrustable. This guy makes up his own language as he goes along. But, hopefully during this segment, we've proved to you beyond a reasonable doubt how Fox goes ahead with the misrepresentation and the outright deceit. And they get people they brainwash people. It's exactly what they do. And you saw how many times Fox had Wayne Simmons on perpetuating the fraud. And I tell you, when this guy goes to jail, and this is serious stuff. I think I heard he can get up to 35 years. You know what? He deserves every second he gets, because how many people, how many things has he really screwed up? Because he tells lies, because he doesn't tell the truth. Guys, when you don't tell the truth, you get Uncle Rich going. And I tell you, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about the power of this show. But you guys just heard it, and you just witnessed it, and I guess there is a judge that must have heard the show too, because guys, you're not gonna believe this. There's a judge that got so mad that this guy, Wayne Simmons, is now in jail. That's right. He's been thrown in jail. So Judy, let's have still number, 03 number A, please. Guys, this is just to confirm what I said. Magistrate orders Fox guest Wayne Simmons to jail for falsely claiming CIA ties. Isn't that funny? There's an ad for bail bondsmen and bail bonds. Sometimes I think there is a God. But anyway, the story reads, Wayne Simmons was ordered to jail by a federal judge today as he continues to face criminal charges for falsely claiming to be an ex-CIA agent. Simmons, who frequently appeared on Fox News as an ex-CIA terrorism expert, was indicted by a grand jury last week on charges of major fraud, wire fraud, and making false statements to the government. Magistrate Ivan Davis examined Simmons' criminal history today and determined that with 11 DWI arrests, Judy, come back to me. Guys, can you imagine this? 11 DUI arrests. Man, if this guy ain't an alcoholic. All right, so he's had 11 DUI arrests, an assault arrest, a firearms conviction. Simmons was in significant danger to the community and should go to jail. So guys, we did it again. Through the power of who's telling the truth, we got a foxstitute behind bars. Everybody, you're welcome. Uncle Joey, Uncle Joey. Guys, I tell you, Uncle Joe is still distraught over this. But Joe, wait a minute. We're going to have so much fun on tonight's show. And guys, I tell you, we're just going to keep it up. You know, we're going to go through the Benghazi stuff, and we're just going to have fun. But the next thing that I want to talk about is, you know, a lot of times on this show, I use the word critical thinker. And I say, you know, most people aren't critical thinkers. But I kept saying that I never really realized what a critical thinker was, or the best way to capsulize the idea. You know, like Lawrence Krauss said, when somebody's ridiculous, you ridicule them. It's that simple. When you're ridiculous, we ridicule you. Well, when you're crazy, and this is what it comes down to, when you're crazy, we're going to criticize you. It's that simple. And guys, it's not to be mean. It's not to, it's nothing personal. But what it comes down to is telling the truth. That's why we do this show. It's really pretty simple, you know? But I had an epiphany. And guys, I'll tell you, this is what kicked it off. So Judy, let's have clip number 4, please.
RT America viewers are smarter. They're critical thinkers. They're looking for more.
Guys, they're critical thinkers. They're looking for more. And that's why we surround ourselves with the question marks. And you know, like I say so often on this show, you know, where are you getting your information from? Be specific and cite your source over and over and over again. And Uncle Joe keeps saying, you keep saying the same thing. Yeah, you're right, Joe. When is it going to start to sink in? I mean, you know, and we're going to play a clip tonight from a guy that used to work for Reagan. And he's going to tell us how Fox brainwashes everybody. But before we do that, we always like to play the full clip. And guys, really, so many times I use the word critical thinker, and it's like I said, I had an epiphany. You know, where you're really a critical thinker is somebody that criticizes. And you're not doing it to shame somebody. Well, no, you are. But I mean, you're not doing it to hurt them personally. You're just there to straighten them out, you know, like we had to do with Dave Straight. You know, we had to subject them to a straitjacket. And guys, you know, since we did our show, I think we knocked Dave off the air. Well, I mean, he hasn't done a show in 2 weeks. I think, you know, when I was a kid, my mother always used to say, when I got out of line, she used to go, I'm going to knock you into next week. And I always kind of wish she would, because I always wanted to see what it would be like. But she never did. And she never tied me up in a chair. That was another thing. I'm going to tie you up if you don't. She never did that either. I guess I didn't have a good childhood. All right, so anyway, guys, now we're going to play the full clip. And Judy, can you hold the video at the end? So let's have it. Number 5, please.
RT America viewers are smarter. They're critical thinkers. They're looking for more. They want a perspective that they don't usually see.
There are people that are looking for the big picture.
People who are done with the exploitation of all of our resources.
You're the
young,
best.
they're independent-minded, they are
All
free
right.
spirits, they're people who want the truth as opposed to what is spoon-fed by corporate media.
They question the status quo, and I think they're a little more tech-savvy than the average news consumer. We don't have to answer to anyone except the people that we're going to report on. Because of that, we're news for the people.
They're viewers who are looking for stories that are different, stories about people who need a voice, and RT gives them that voice.
Someone who questions and asks more.
Question more. You know, that's why, guys, just keep questioning. It's really that simple. All right, now, you know, at the Benghazi hearings, things got a little heated between Howdy Gowdy and Elijah Cummings. And Elijah Cummings gave him the old bada bing. And he put him in his place and he said, release the transcripts. And Jowdy and his foxtitudes refused to release the transcripts. And why did they refuse to release the transcripts? Well, we're going to show you. But it had to do with, obviously, with telling the truth. Something that the people in the Republican Party and on Fox don't want you to know. So, guys, we're going to play the full clip with Gowdy and Cummings, and then we're going to prove to you how they tried to deceive everybody. So, Judy, let's have clip number 6, please.
Gentlemen, yield.
Sure.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, you've made several
Kirk, can I have
inaccurate
volume?
statements over the past month as you have tried to defend against multiple Republican admissions that the Select Committee has been wasting millions of tax dollars to damage Secretary Clinton's bid for president. On Sunday, you made another inaccurate statement during your appearance on Face the Nation, and it's being taken up here, and this is the relevance. Here's what you said, and I quote, there are other folks who may have equities in her emails, and there may be other entities who are evaluating her emails. But my interest in them is solely making sure that I get everything I'm entitled to so that I can do my job. The rest of it, classification, Clinton Foundation, you name it, I have zero interest in it, which is why you haven't seen me send a subpoena related to it or interview a single person other than Brian Pagliano, because I need to know that the record is complete. And I'm going back to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I'm
Mr.
waiting.
Chairman, let me finish.
I'm waiting on you.
Let me-
I've been very
I'm
patient.
coming, just wait.
I'm waiting on the
All right,
inaccurate statement.
I'm getting there. Mr. Chairman.
Well, we gotta take
your
a break.
statement was, well, it's not going to take long. You took up 4 minutes over, so let me have 3.
I've let everybody go over,
Thank
including you, Mr.
Thank you very much. You issued a subpoena to Sidney Blumenthal on May 19th, 2015, compelling him to appear for a deposition on June 16, 2015. You issued this subpoena unilaterally without giving the Select Committee members the opportunity to debate or vote on it. You sent 2 armed marshals to serve the subpoena on Mrs. Blumenthal's wife at their home without having ever sent him a request to participate voluntarily, which he would have done. Then, Mr. Chairman, you personally attended Mr. Blumenthal's deposition. You personally asked him about the Clinton Foundation, and you personally directed your staff to ask questions about the Clinton Foundation, which they did more than 50 times. Now, these facts directly contradict the statements you made on national television this last Sunday.
No, sir. With all due respect, they do not. We just heard
email after email after email about Libya and Benghazi that Sidney Blumenthal sent to the Secretary of State. I don't care if he sent it by Morse code, carrier pigeon, smoke signals. The fact that he happened to send it by email is irrelevant. What is relevant is that he was sending information to the Secretary of State. That is what's relevant. Now, with respect to the subpoena, if he'd bothered to answer the telephone calls of our committee, he wouldn't have needed a subpoena.
Would the gentleman yield?
I'll be happy to, but you need to make sure the entire record is correct, Mr. Cummings.
And that's exactly what I want to do.
Well, then go ahead.
I'm about to tell you. I move that we put into the record the entire transcript of Sidney Blumenthal. We're going to release the emails. Let's do the transcript. That way the world can see it.
Well, we didn't.
The motion has been seconded.
Well, we're not going to take that up at a hearing. We'll take that up in a business
I've consulted
meeting.
with the parliamentarian, and they have informed us that we have a right to a recorded vote on that motion. We want, you
I'll tell you
ask
what,
for the
let's do
truth,
that.
the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Well, that's what we want to have. Let the world see it.
Why is it that you only want Mr. Blumenthal's transcript released? Why don't you
I'd
want
like
the
to have
survivors?
all of them released.
The survivors, even their names?
Let me
you
tell
want
you
that?
something. No,
you want that released?
Let me tell you something. Right now,
the only one
right
you've
now,
asked
the
for
only
is Sidney Blumenthal. That's the
only-
only one you've asked for. That and Miss Mills.
Cheryl Mills.
That's not true.
No, that's 2 out of 54. Now, if you want to ask for some fact
We asked
witnesses,
for a recorded vote on the Blumenthal. You said from the beginning, we want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Why don't we just put the entire transcript out there and let the world see it? What do you have to hide?
His are the only emails that you have released. And the fairness to Mr. Blumenthal and to the American people, in the interest of a complete record, if you're going to release his emails, release his transcript where he has a chance to give the context of those emails.
well, you keep referring to Blumenthal emails. I would hasten to remind both of you, the only reason we have Blumenthal emails is because he emailed the Secretary of State. Those are her emails. That's why they were released. They're not Blumenthal's emails, and she wanted all of her emails released. She's been saying since March, I want the entire world to see my emails. Well, Sidney Blumenthal's emails are part of that. So here's what I'll do. I'll be happy to talk to the parliamentarian, because the parliamentarian told me that your motion actually would not be in order for a hearing. But at the latest, we'll take a vote. The first week we are back, after this week, we'll have a business meeting. We can take up Mr. Blumenthal's transcript. We can take up whatever other transcripts you want. And while we're there, we can also take up the 20-some-odd outstanding discovery requests that we have to different executive branch entities. Why don't we just take all of it up then?
Mr. Chairman, the allegations that have been made against him are refuted by his own testimony. In the interest of not having...
That's your opinion, Adam.
Well, if you disagree, then release the transcripts.
What allegation, Al?
Why conceal the transcripts, even if the motion were not in order? You have the power to release them. You have the power to say
I'll tell
right
you why,
now
because I'm not going to release one transcript of someone who knows nothing about Libya by his own admission, while people who risk their lives, you have no interest in their story getting out. You don't want the 18 DS agents. You don't want the CIA agents. The only transcripts you want released are Miss Mills and Sidney Blumenthal.
Mr. Chairman,
so we'll take all of this up in November.
The only person you were interested in asking about during your entire questioning was Sidney Blumenthal. If you're so interested in him, release the transcript. You selectively released his emails. They're the only witness you've done that for. So you're asking, why are we only asking for his transcript?
I'm going to ask the gentleman from California to please do a better job of characterizing. These are not Sidney Blumenthal's emails. These are Secretary Clinton's emails. And I'll tell you what, if you think you've heard about Sidney Blumenthal so far, wait till the next round.
Sure,
With that, we're adjourned.
The transcripts. Guys, why won't they release the transcripts? Why? We're going to do it again. We're going to show you on who's telling the truth, why they won't release the transcripts. So, Judy, let's have video number 7, please.
Yeah, doesn't all of this... Well, let me back up a little bit. So you're suggesting that the fact that Trey Gowdy didn't know one of his senior investigators...
Well, that he says he didn't know.
That he says he doesn't know, would strongly suggest that Trey Gowdy really doesn't think that there's any there with regard to Benghazi. There's really nothing serious to investigate. He's really just interested in beating up Hillary Clinton.
I mean, I don't know what it suggests. I think a lot of things have suggested what you just said. Hauling in Sidney Blumenthal, and questioning him with, I think, 180 questions, 45 of which were about David Brock. I mean, who has nothing to do with Benghazi. Right. You know, asking more, like 2 questions, I think, during Sidney Blumenthal's testimony, according to sources, were about Benghazi. And because Sidney Blumenthal had nothing to do with Benghazi, yet they spent an entire day questioning him. And they haven't held hearings. They were supposed to hold hearings with the Defense Department. They haven't held hearings with a single Defense Department official. They're supposed to hold hearings with the CIA. One CIA person has testified before the Benghazi Select Committee, and that was their legislative affairs representative, who was...
Guys, now do you see why they don't want to release the transcripts? It's a witch hunt. They asked Blumenthal 108 questions, and 45 were on David Brock. Now you're going to say, who's David Brock? David Brock is the founder of Media Matters. And what does Media Matters do? They constantly go after the Foxstitutes at Fox, and they constantly go after the right-wing conservatives. And I tell you, they take no prisoners. So you could see, once again, this is a political witch hunt. Had nothing to do with Benghazi. It has everything to do with the Republican Party and the way they brainwash people. It's that simple. The next clip we're going to show you is with David Brock. And the ironic thing was, and guys, this is my fault because I should have wrote down the date that it was published. Oh wait, I'll be able to get that. I'll do that while the clip's playing. But this is a clip with Ed, I forget his last name, on MSNBC. Anyway, David Brock, this is going to be about a year. Ed Schultz, this is going to be about a year before the Benghazi meeting. And listen to what David Brock is talking about with these emails. And then, you know, all the pieces will start to fit. So, Judy, let's have clip number 8, please.
Joining me tonight, David Brock, founder and chairman and board member of Media Matters for America. Great to have you with us.
Thank you for having me, Ed.
What's the right-wing plan here? Get Democrats tired of the Clintons with this kind of stuff?
Well, sure. I mean, look, they've been trying what I call a kind of preemptive strategy of disqualification with this Benghazi hearing that's been going on for years now to tar and tarnish her record before she gets in. I think they don't know her very well, so they may have had some expectation that they'd actually scare her off. And yeah, you know, one of the most frightening things I ever find is Democrats believing Republican propaganda. So there's a little of that out there too. But at the end of the day, this is political season. We're on the eve of a presidential election, and this is a desperate tactic by Republicans who have nothing to offer the country, and they've had nothing on Benghazi for months. They're trying to fire up this investigation, fire up their base, and get those Benghazi truthers.
I mean, I think that the "Ready for Hillary" slogan is like the Republicans coming back with this, saying, "Okay, are you ready for more of this?"
Sure.
I mean, to throw this where there's a Clinton, there's a controversy. Where there's a controversy, there's an investigation. Does the country really want this? I mean, I think that is their strategy.
Sure, I don't doubt that might be part of their strategy, but the reality is that this is so familiar now. Mm-hmm. I mean, for some of us who've been in this since we never got the apology from the New York Times on Whitewater in 1992, this week has played out exactly like that. And I think people are understanding what this is. I think that they understand that the Republicans are desperate. They tip off a newspaper, they get a false story, and then you get this entire media complex, and you get this explosion of coverage. And the truth has a hard time catching up. And people are still confused, Ed, that there was no violation of law here, that these emails were preserved. And you mentioned Secretary's tweet last night.
Well, I was going to ask you, what do you make of her tactic to go on Twitter and respond to it?
Look, I think it was a low-key and appropriate way of dealing with it. But the reality is, this is, I don't know in history, a cabinet officer who's disclosed all their email. It's like the greatest act of transparency we've ever seen. And yet you've got people out there, Republicans and also people in the press, who are holding up Jeb Bush as the paragon of transparency when he's had 3 million emails. They cherry-picked less than 10%, put that out, and that's transparent. Well, why doesn't he match what Secretary Clinton's done?
The narrative on the right wing right now is by these right-wing zealots on Fox is that, hey, there could have been a real security breach here.
Sure.
Should she address that?
Sure. Well, I think when she becomes a candidate, she's going to be asked these questions. There's no evidence of that. The State Department says that's not the case. These are what you said. These are the Fox News people, the Benghazi truthers. You know, Ed, they're never going to be happy. You mentioned the subpoenas from the committee. Okay, so 55,000 pages of email were turned over, right? About 10% were held back as strictly personal. They want those too, Ed. They want to go pry and harass and embarrass. So in that sense, you know, this is really just politics, politics as usual for the Republicans, and we expect it, we recognize it, we know what it is, and it's not going to matter.
And Trey Gowdy wants to be somebody. I'm convinced
no
of that.
question.
David Brock, great to have you with us.
Guys, I love the way he said it. The Benghazi truthers. I mean, it's the same thing with Obama's birth certificate. You know what I mean? It's all made up BS. And why? To create doubt. And what happens is, like he said, the truth has a hard time catching up to the lies. And, you know, once you start a lie, and, you know, it perpetuates itself, that's why we have the unpacking department over here. We have to unpack all this stuff. We have to sit there and try to decipher what Fox News is trying to bamboozle us with every week. And guys, the next clip is when we really get to have fun, because this comes from an ex-Reagan advisor. He was also a Bush advisor, and his name is Bruce Bartlett. And guys, he's going to blow the whistle on Fox and on the conservatives and the whole thing, and you can just sit there and enjoy. So, Judy, let's have clip number 9, please.
Fox has long been the favorite channel of the Republican Party. But is it actually bad for the GOP? The question was reignited this week, not by Jon Stewart or a liberal columnist, but by the well-respected conservative historian Bruce Bartlett. He wrote this paper. It's titled How Fox News Changed American Media and Political Dynamics, using statistics to charge that Fox makes its viewers less educated, and that the channel even dampened turnout for Mitt Romney in the last presidential election. This is the rare scholarly paper that has stirred a media frenzy, maybe because Bartlett worked in the administrations of President Reagan and George H.W. Bush. And he's joining me right here on the set in Washington. Thanks for being here.
Happy to be here.
Let me read one line that I thought stood out to me and a lot of other people. You said it can almost be called self-brainwashing. Many conservatives now refuse to even listen to any news or opinion not vetted through Fox and to believe whatever appears on it as the gospel truth. Self-brainwashing.
I don't think that word is too strong. I think many conservatives live in a bubble where they watch only Fox News on television, they listen only to conservative talk radio, Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, many of the same people. When they go on to the internet, they look at only conservative websites like National Review, Newsmax, World Net Daily. And so they are completely in a universe in which they are hearing the same exact ideas, the same arguments, the same limited amount of data repeated over and over and over again, and that's brainwashing.
And do you believe that's more true for conservatives than for liberals?
Yeah, I do. I believe that. But
what causes that?
Well, I think for a long time the media did tilt to a bit to the left, and so I think that conservatives, once they got a media of their own, just sort of glommed onto it like a man in the desert, you know, being given some water. They drank very heavily from the Fox waters. And but what I don't think they've quite come to understand yet is it's a double-edged sword. There's no question that Fox helps the Republican Party enormously, but it's not 100% positive. There are some negatives, and I think we're starting to see some of them in this election cycle.
You're bringing up, what basically you're describing negative consequences of having a channel that does reinforce viewers' beliefs.
That's right. One of the things, I cite a study in my paper where I talk about how Fox viewers in the 2012 election cycle tended to have more wishful thinking, so to speak. That is, they were more confident, unrealistically confident, I think, based on objective analysis of the polls. And you may remember there was this website, what was it, Unskewed Polls?
Right.
Remember that?
Right.
Where it was just widely believed in Republican circles that all of the polls were biased against Romney and that he was actually doing really, really well, much better, and was going to win pretty easily. And as we know, Karl Rove, among others, was shocked on election night when he didn't do as well as expected.
So circling back to that point I made in the beginning about the debate rules, do you think those debate rules where only the top 10 contenders will be allowed onto the stage, does that help the Republican Party or hurt the Republican Party?
Well, I don't know. It depends, I suppose, on who gets left off the list. I mean, certain candidates have broad but not deep support. Others have very deep but not broad support. And so I think if you're somebody who feels strongly about, say, Ben Carson, and he ends up being the guy who gets left off, your feelings towards the party and perhaps towards Fox News may be affected.
Bruce, thanks for being here. Thanks for
you.
the thoughtful conversation this morning.
Okay.
So, guys, you heard it from the horse's mouth. And, Fox, the people listen to Fox News, they watch Fox News, they listen to conservative talk radio, like our friends at WLAD, down in Danbury. And they, and then they listen to talk radio, what I call hate radio. And when they go on the internet, they go to conservative sites like Breitbart and the Daily Caller and the Drudge Report. So all the information that they're getting is all the same type of information. Doesn't matter where they go. So they think that what they're being told is reality. And guys, this is how you get people like Dave Straight and Marty and Uncle Joe. This is how you trick them. Everywhere they turn, they see the same thing. And when you tell them that the globe's not warming and they hear it everywhere they look, they believe it. But would they go on the internet and look up NASA? Would they go on the internet and look up the National Academy of Sciences? No. No. What they'll do is they'll go on the internet and look up what's up with that, with Anthony Watts, a blogger. So they'd rather get their information from bloggers than from scientific sources like NASA, NOAA, and the National Academy of Sciences. And these are the people we're dealing with, guys. But you know what? The conservatives are still going to have one more opportunity to kick that dead horse. Hey, Judy, can you bring up still number 00? Remember at the very beginning we had still number 00 kicking the dead Benghazi horse? There we see, guys, the Republicans are still going to have one more chance. They got the Beat the Dead Horse Award. It was awarded to the House Republicans for not knowing when the subject is dead. And that was awarded by the American citizens on the 23rd day of October when they had the Benghazi hearing. But guys, they're still going to have one more opportunity to kick this dead horse. And why? Because there's a movie coming out about Benghazi. That's right. So right around the time that the next election comes up, they can start to gin up the hate and the fear. Because why? They don't want to deal with the issues. They just want to deal with the emotions. That's it. They want to inflame you. They want to get you emotionally involved instead of stopping and looking at how the middle class of this country is being destroyed. So, Judy, let's see this 13 hours, The Secret Soldiers. This is the trailer for the Benghazi movie that's going to come out, I think, in February. So let's have number 10, please.
Libyan visa. Official.
Pull over for inspection.
Sorry, sir, I can't do that.
Pull over for inspection!
How willing are you to die for your country? I'm ready to go right here, right now.
Everybody, this is Jack Silva.
Jack.
We train SEALs at Coronado, so he knows the drill.
Welcome to Club, man.
We need immediate assistance. We are overrun.
State's under attack. Let's go, man. State's under attack. Let's go. We gotta move.
If you do not get here soon, we are all gonna fucking die.
We have a U.S. ambassador at risk.
The ambassador is in his safe haven. You're not the first responders. You're the last resort. You will wait.
None of you have to go. But we are the only help they have.
Called fire support. Never came.
You're not giving orders anymore. You're in my world now.
We have 36 American lives to save.
Oh boy, this is going to get all the simple folk going, right? I mean, did you hear the one line? You're not the first responder. You're the last resort. Oh, yeah. Let's go get them. And I'm sure everybody's going to get all charged up, and it's going to be like inciting a riot. You know, you got to get all the people like Uncle Joey. You know, of course, you know, we've had all these subcommittees, and, you know, nothing's been proven, but you know what? They got to beat that dead horse. And why? The Koch brothers insist on it. Really. The richest people, the billionaires, this is what they want. They want to divide the country. Rather than deal with issues, let's get excited over a stupid movie. Instead of figuring out what we could do to change things, you know what? Let's just disrupt everything. All right, but guys, the show is gonna start to evolve now, and we're gonna go through the evolution of Bernie. This is gonna be the segment of the show that we call Feel the Bern. Let's see if Judy's on her toe. There you go. So we're gonna call this Feel the Bern, and this is the evolution of Bernie. And watch how when he first came out, nobody gave him a chance. I mean, nobody. And a lot of people still don't. But guys, you're going to see, you're going to watch how the pendulum is swung. So Judy, let's have clip number 21, please. You have 14 minutes left. Okay.
Huge.
He's a self-described democratic socialist from Vermont who got his political start as the mayor of Burlington. A long shot then, a bigger long shot now. He's an unlikely presidential candidate taking on the biggest frontrunner the Democratic Party has ever seen.
One poll shows him down 60 points.
Bernie Sanders, terrible for America.
I don't know that Bernie Sanders can beat Hillary Clinton.
You know, you almost had to feel sorry for Bernie.
He may not have any chance.
That's all going to disappear by the time we get to Iowa.
This Bernie mania thing could burn out.
She is ahead, George, by a long shot.
They don't see Bernie Sanders as a real threat.
Bernie, stop spitting.
He's not going to be the nominee.
Major structural problems with Bernie Sanders.
Clinton crushes him in national polls by more than 40 points.
Hillary probably will inevitably be the nominee.
Even Democrats admit he may not be their best shot at the White House.
He is not going to be the nominee.
Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders may be gaining a little bit of momentum as he seeks to challenge Hillary Clinton. His views may be gaining traction.
Look at Bernie Sanders' rise, tripling his support.
The hottest thing in American politics right now is a socialist.
That is a rocket ship. I wouldn't lollygag this one around. That's
doesn't mince words.
I don't think we've seen more enthusiasm for any candidate.
Sanders, 35. That's a hello. Bernie Sanders is the candidate of the summer.
Senator Bernie Sanders drew a monster crowd.
3,000 in Minneapolis, 5,000 in Burlington.
We know what Bernie Sanders wants, and a lot of the Democratic Party, let's be honest, they want it too. She may be the Democratic frontrunner, but this morning Clinton is feeling the burn.
Throwing a scare into Hillary Clinton's camp.
In recent days, Bernie momentum drawing larger crowds than every candidate running.
In a packed stadium, possibly as many as 10,000 people.
That's not the last time he's going to have a rally with 10,000 people, okay? It is real.
We're worried about him. Sure, he'll be a serious force for the campaign, and we think that will probably, I don't think that will.
It was another full house for Senator Bernie Sanders.
Feel the burn.
It is possible. Bernie Sanders, he could win Iowa, he could win New Hampshire.
Hillary Clinton is feeling the heat from a suddenly surging Bernie Sanders.
He's chipping away at Hillary Clinton's lead.
Pollsters say it's a statistical tie.
We've got 28,000 people in Portland, for God's sake.
They turned out in droves to greet Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders has quickly become the biggest draw.
One of the most unpredictable presidential campaigns in memory.
Bernie Sanders is drawing even bigger crowds than you. Have you drawn a crowd of 25,000?
No, 15, but I haven't. Excuse me. Sanders is a summer sensation. He's filling arenas.
Bernie Sanders has replaced Clinton as number one.
Roughly 70,000 people lined up to see him over the past few days.
Tens of thousands in 3 nights on the West Coast. Here in Iowa, Bernie Sanders was greeted like a rock star.
Whoa, looks like the crowd is really swelled.
These people are very excited. It's kind of like Woodstock down here.
Clinton dropping below 50%.
Clinton's lead now down to single digits.
Hillary Clinton has lost a third of her supporters.
He has an electable agenda.
Bernie Sanders beating Clinton in New Hampshire.
Sanders gaining 15 points.
Once thought to be the longest of long shots with a commanding lead.
Bernie Sanders is doing a hell of a job, by the way.
Bernie Sanders could easily win the Democratic nomination. Bernie Sanders could get elected president.
This was a stunning number.
Big advantage for Bernie Sanders.
She has to watch her back. He's definitely on the rise.
They're really looking at Bernie Sanders, who is kind of big.
Considered the longest of long shots, Sanders is drawing big crowds.
It was a record-breaking weekend for Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. More than 20,000 people turned out to see Sanders speak. It's the largest rally for a presidential primary candidate in recent Massachusetts history.
If Hillary Clinton loses the New Hampshire primary to Bernie Sanders, her chances of being the nominee go down.
Sanders leads Trump by 5 points in Iowa.
We really have to lead with Bernie.
We have to look at
Everybody. Bernie Sanders is going to stand up for the rest of us.
the most honest,
He's wonderful.
Can't be bought.
honest person.
He is really a populist.
Being real.
Is fighting for the working class, far away from the corporate pocketbook.
He's for the people and he's authentic.
And he can win the nomination.
When we come together as a nation, when we say enough is enough, when we stand together, there is nothing we cannot accomplish.
Guys, I tell you, there are times I'm feeling it. And what we're going to do is Once again, we're running out of time. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to play another clip of Bernie at the Jefferson-Jackson dinner. And we're going to let him talk for a little while, but then we want to show you the clips from the AFT. So anyway, Judy, let's start with number 22. And remember, I'm going to let you do the slides on this. So it's your baby.
Thank you, Iowa. Now, we just heard from President Obama, and it reminded me of something that I think we should think about, and that is to reach out to our Republican friends and colleagues who are suffering from a very, very serious illness. They suffer from amnesia.
Judy.
They forgot what the world looked like 7 years ago. They forgot that 800,000 people a month were losing their jobs. They forgot that the world's financial system was on the verge of collapse. And they just forgot that we ran up the largest deficit in the history of the United States in the last year of George Bush.
Okay, go to the next one.
So we wish our Republican friends well on the road to recovery, and we tell them what every American knows. Yeah, we got problems today, but everybody knows, thanks to the president and the vice president, we have made real progress in improving our economy. And we have done that despite unprecedented obstructionism from right-wing Republicans. Now let me begin by thanking all of you for being here tonight. Thank Dr. McGuire for her great work as chair of the Iowa Democratic Party. And I want to thank you for your patriotism, for your love of our country, and for doing today what too few Americans are doing. You are not standing on the sidelines complaining. You are not turning
Judy,
your
when I lift
backs
my hand up,
on
come
the
to me, okay?
process. You are standing up and fighting back. And that is what this campaign is about. And it is what the political revolution is about. When you see the middle class of this country disappearing, and when you see people you know working 2 or 3 jobs, trying to cobble together some income and some health care, you don't just shrug your shoulders and say that's the way it is. You fight to raise the minimum wage.
We have to jump out of this clip early.
Okay.
Because, we want to make sure that we can get the stuff up so that everybody knows that on Sunday, you're going to show up, and we want to give you a reason to show up at Broadview School at 5 o'clock. So, Judy, let's have clip number 32 now. Clip number 32. All right. Too much fire.
Teachers, public service workers, nurses, and caregivers turned out to march in this year's Newtown Labor Day Parade. They came to show solidarity with the techs and therapists at Danbury and New Milford hospitals fighting for a strong, fair contract.
When you show up at Danbury Hospital, everybody knows that it's a multitude of people there helping to make things right for whatever you're there to, for whatever reason you're there, and the techs have been there to help us in our time of need. I've been there myself for emergency room admittance, and they were there for me. And I think it's fitting that they should be able to have a union together with a single voice, and I want to support them any way I can.
With what happened in Newtown, I can tell you that most of the patients were treated there. It was a crisis, and we depend here in Newtown on those workers taking care of us like family.
I was on staff when they were, it actually happened, but it's great to have an unfortunate situation bring people and communities together, because we see how supportive the town has been to their teachers and how everyone was supportive towards us, being the healthcare workers that we're taking care of. And now we're here today and we're all working together to make, our first contract.
I'm born and raised in Danbury, so my family, my friends, the people that I care about goes to this hospital, and I want great health care for them, like anyone would want for anyone. So that's why I thought it was imperative that we take some steps to have a voice.
Otherwise, if our LPNs and techs and therapists don't have a voice, they're employees at will, and they have no rights whatsoever. They had a union election that allows them to be represented and have that voice. I worry because 2 years ago, Danbury Hospital threatened a layoff, and they took away shift differentials from these same workers who have just won the right to organize. Management thinks that at 8 o'clock everybody goes to sleep at Danbury Hospital. They think holidays and weekends, people pack up their bags and go homes. I want these people to have the same rights that the Unit 47 nurses have, to be paid to work nights and be away from their families, to be paid to work extra on Labor Day because they're not here able to enjoy a beautiful parade here in Newtown.
They are not second-class citizens. They do life-saving work, and they need to be there. They need the staff, they need to be recognized, they need to have a voice so that there is patient care over hospital profits.
Join us in urging Western Connecticut Health Network's leadership to reach a fair agreement with the hospital's techs and therapists who are there for us, and put patients before profits.
Saw Lynn Tabersack there, my buddy Lynn Tabersack, and she explained to me, most people are subcontractors, and we got to end that. But guys, we're going to see you Sunday at Broadview School, right by the hospital. It's the school right on Hospital Avenue, right by the hospital. That's where everyone's meeting. We're going to march past the hospital, down Locust Avenue, and onto Osborne Street. So we'll see everybody on Sunday. Bring your questions. And guys, if you don't mind being on TV, we'll see you then. Toodles!